complicated, and I think that a lot of people would still need the visual 2D or 3D information to make a lot of their choices. But for digital marketers, that means transitioning from SEO to GEO. And I've heard the name GEO, which is Generative Engine Optimization. I've heard like 7 other terms. GEO sticks with me.
Welcome to Future Fuzz, the digital marketing podcast.
All right, welcome in. I am Vince Quinn, and today we're talking about advancements in AI, the browser battle, GEO, all sorts of fun stuff. And joining us for this conversation is Jamie Gastelle, the Senior Director of Marketing at Landgate. Jamie, welcome to Future Fuzz.
Welcome, everybody. I'm so excited to be here. I'm so happy to be here with Vince, who has the most amazing radio voice I've ever heard. So sorry you have to listen to me.
Well, thank you. There's a lot to listen. There's a lot to take in. Okay, so there's a lot going on. I mean, look, it's AI. The evolution of it is crazy. It's moving at light speed, and everybody's trying to keep up with it. So first off, just to give people a little bit of background of like how you come into this space. I mean, just what is Landgate for the people who haven't heard about it yet?
Landgate is an amazing company. We're a data intelligence platform for energy developers, real estate agents, and investors. We provide deep analytics for siting for data centers, renewable energy, any other type of energy project like oil and gas, nuclear. So we're just a really amazing platform for developers to site and get those pieces of land for their project development. And then the underscore of that would be Land App, which is your handheld device for consumers, which is actually the marketplace of that. So we're bridging real estate and energy together. It's a really fun, really exciting company, and we get to work with consumers and businesses. So it's really exciting. Yeah, so
you get to see it from a lot of different ways. And when it's related to AI, I mean, what's more important, right? Like you talk about all of these data centers that need to get built. It's such a major thing. And it's really one of the major talking points just of the last, I don't know, year. Like for a while, I feel like it just keeps popping up in the news of how important, how vital it all is, because AI usage has just been so crazy immense. And so like with that, there's a lot of things to talk about here, but let's start with the browser battle, if you will. So when it comes to all of these AI browsers, this new thing coming out, people are starting to engage with it. I mean, how many are there? What's going on with all of this? Like it's such a new thing. So where are we with the AI browsers to begin?
Yeah, well, I would just second that. AI is it's just exploding. Everybody's consuming it. Everybody's using it. Everybody's wanting more. And I think a lot of people don't even realize what they can do with AI at this point, because you can just do so much with it. But for the AI browser battle, tech companies are always producing something more. They're always releasing new products. This is just one of those other things that you have to keep up with as a digital marketer. And that is these new browsers, these new interfaces. What does digital marketing look like for 2026? And that's just one thing to keep in mind. With these new browsers coming out, those big LLM brands are competing for people's usage. And so Microsoft has, their own AI tab. Google has their AI mode. That Google already is using their generative engine synthesis. Oh my goodness, their general synthesis at the top, but it's going to be, changed. The whole interface is going to be changed to become more of that AI mode. So we're going to have to watch and see which browser wins. But obviously, Google already has all of that traffic, all of the just general search vibe. It's the genericized term for search is Googling. So they're obviously going to be a huge winner. And we're just going to have to watch and see how that interface changes, and probably will slowly progress to that AI mode.
Yeah, they are definitely. I mean, I'm a Google user. I have Google Chrome. That's my main browser that I use. And with that, they're definitely, I feel like every time I log in, they're trying to get me to agree to something else with Gemini. It's because it's where everything's going. I've also downloaded, what is it? Comet is the other one, one of the major one that's out there. So yeah, because I've just started to experiment. I just want to see what it's like, how it works. Just putting in random requests to compare to GPT. I've used GPT. So yeah, I mean, it's a fascinating thing. It's going to change, because you can already see it in interacting with just the way they're trying to change how we interact with search, right? Like, hey, we're going to put it into this bot first. You're going to put it into the AI first, and then it's going to look these things up rather than I'm going to look up this information, which we get now, which is like, I'm going to Google something and it will give me a summary in the browser, So it's
Hmm.
like just that alone is such an interesting shift. And obviously we'll be talking about like SEO, GEO, all these different, there's so much going on with all of this, but yeah, seeing how much the browsers, like the innovation, if you will, that's rapidly accelerating, clearly emphasis on getting people to sign up for this has just been tremendous.
Yeah. It's actually funny. I stumbled upon Perplexity's one of their kind of black hat SEO tricks. I misspelled Alibaba, trying to go to Alibaba.com. So they were betting on their, millions of traffic each month that somebody else would make the same mistake that I would and misspell it. And I ended up on an advertisement for them. And I had already downloaded their Comet browser. So I was like, what the heck? How did they get me here? Did I accidentally install something? Did they default my browser? I mistakenly did that. But I just retraced my steps and I was like, oh my gosh, I spelled it wrong. They bought that domain. They bought the misspelling, and then they redirected that traffic to their ad to download the browser. So I just thought that was hilarious.
It's brilliant. I mean, the amount of typos that I commit per day, I never I never learned anything in school. Like I was just old enough or young enough, I don't know, however you want to phrase it, to like get some typing lessons in school. It was like Mavis Beacon teaches typing for anybody that had to go through that. And I didn't learn it. I didn't have the form. I still like peck and poke. And so I spell my name wrong. I mean, I literally to the point where I was sending you a LinkedIn request prior to this recording, and I spelled my name Vicne, because it's just how it goes. So yeah, I mean, brilliant marketing. As far as marketing goes, buy domains of misspelled major players. Direct people. Like that's a strategy unto itself. It's genius.
Well, and I feel like the antithesis of perfection is now going to be like, oh, well, that person was actually typing that because there's a misspelling there. There's an error in that email. They didn't polish it with AI. They didn't have AI draft it. Like that's actually written by a person because there is a spelling error. Like that's going to be, a signifier of like a genuine comment.
Yeah. It's crazy. So
even this video recording, like me stumbling over my speech or, just hesitating to say something. It's funny how we all want that perfection, but then we crave real podcasts. We crave real video because that's genuine.
yeah, I have a tendency, just like a natural thing where something is, it seems perfect, where I just want to like smudge it a little bit. I just like piercing that bubble, if you will, once in a while, because it is like on some level, I'm just like I don't know, nonconformist, I guess. But on some level, it's also just I enjoy that human aspect. I enjoy things being messy, personal, authentic. Like you need that. Because yeah, everybody's going through it on all these different levels. Nobody's perfect, and it's charming, honestly. So yeah, I enjoy those things. I love messing with stuff. As a kid, drawing mustaches on things like the classics. It's it's an enjoyable exercise. But for more important things outside of my artistic destruction, so. I want to bring it back a little bit here because with all of this, I mean, what has the usage been like for just all of these LLMs? I mean, how deep is it? Because obviously we know people are using it, but like to what scale is this actually really happening?
Okay, well, I've got a slide for you. Surprise! Hopefully you're watching on YouTube right now. If you don't, we'll try to say it out loud as well.
Yeah, but wow, our first slideshow on the show, by the way. So congratulations to you. This is the first time, and I'm very excited to see what you've put together here.
Okay, cool. Well, yeah, this should be just helpful for anyone in general in digital marketing. You can look at the consumer usage versus the enterprise usage. We have to do that as a company, obviously, because we're marketing both to Landgate users and Land app users. On the consumer side, this chart above just basically displays a self-proclaimed amongst LLM users of what they're using. So the most used one would be ChatGPT at around 80%. Gemini comes in second, around 70%. And that just goes to say, the people who are using LLMs and AI bots every single day, they really like ChatGPT. Or is it just that has become the genericized term for like chatting with LLMs? which I would say yes. Like most people just recognize ChatGPT as one of the biggest, most well-known brands because of their early release, and they've just been in the media the most. Google, kind of quietly released and followed OpenAI and all that, but Google definitely has a bigger browser brand, a bigger just Google Cloud in general. So I feel like over time that's going to shift. But if you look at that at an enterprise usage rate, the highest adopter is actually Anthropic or Claude. And then second behind that is OpenAI or ChatGPT. But that's actually down. It was 50% in about 2023, and now it's down to 25%. And then the third, again, is going to be Google Gemini. So again, Gemini, Google is going to be one of those big ones that you need to aim for, just like always, just like with that Google strategy for, SEO. And then there's another graph in here that I just think is really interesting. And it's basically just looking at searches across the web, not looking at specific browsers, but across any type of platform. So what you can see on there is actually it's ranking from Google to Instagram, Snapchat, Amazon, YouTube, LinkedIn, and that's in order in daily searches in the billions. So Google's the winner. Instagram is actually second. Snapchat, Amazon, YouTube, LinkedIn, Pinterest, Google Play, Facebook, and then TikTok. So those are all the just things to take into mind because they're all going to be using those LLMs. And the fourth quadrant of this slide actually describes what that prediction is going to be and the challenge for digital marketers. And I think it's going to be that these mega platforms are actually going to siphon most of the traffic because what's going to happen is everybody's going to stay within that AI chatbot. So whether you're using, Google Gemini or Claude or ChatGPT, you're going to start shopping, you're going to start watching videos, you're going to start buying products within that AI brand, and you're not going to leave that interface. So I think across the web, people are going to be seeing less traffic to their websites, and it's just going to die from there. SEMrush shared stats recently that in 2025, 97% of traffic has been traditional organic traffic, and about 3% has been from LLMs. And then they shared their prediction, which was that it was going to shift to about an 80-20 split for 2026.
Wow.
And then a 50-50 split for 2027.
Future Fuzz is sponsored by SalesSource, B2B pipeline management and sales growth for your business.
Wow, that's crazy. I mean, but it does make sense. They want full ownership of this. And if it gets to a point where, I don't know how this would fully work, but if it gets to a point where you're searching for things, you want to make a purchase, you do it through GPT and they get a percentage of the sale, or you know what I mean? They're putting fees on top of it, like game over. And it is going to be such, right? Like it's game over because
they're going to make so much money.
Yeah, everything is going to run through that because of course it will. They're not going to want you to go anywhere else. But I mean, it just goes.
They're going to get you in two ways. They're going to get you on the product transaction, and then they're going to get you on their cloud-based platforms where you're going to have to store everything.
Yeah, right. And Google, I mean, who's more built to do all of that than Google, who already has the cloud stuff going for them? I mean, it's crazy. So, okay, so looking at this, I mean, and you see the idea of just how frequent all this usage is. The GPT stuff makes a lot of sense, right? And I think what you said earlier about how GPT is such a standout, and that's, one, it was the really big first one to come out and get that public release. Sam Altman's been everywhere. I've used GPT for that reason, and that's been the main one that whenever I need anything done, I do lean on that and have custom GPTs. But also, it just is easy to parody, right? Like in terms of marketing, right? Like nobody knows what GPT is. Like what does it even mean? Why is it GPT? I would figure that's a pretty common question that people have. And it's easy to parody. Like when the iPhone came out and iPad and everything else, iPod, everything was I, right? Like the lowercase I just became this sort of social status, and like random stores that fixed your phone would name themselves based on that, and like it just became this cultural thing. And I think GPT, I've already seen jokes in like different movies and shows and stuff where they make fake AI bots and they throw GPT on there. It's just something about that has like a staying power to it. It's so fascinating.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, I mean, you see those kinds of things, and thinking about the switch of where it's going to go. I mean, people are encountering it more. The major platforms are making it easier to access. People are getting more comfortable with it because they have to interact with it. Copilot is just installed on your work computer now, and like you're just going to deal, So,
Yep.
so to see that kind of progression makes a lot of sense. So then, like, given your experience with all of this, and obviously working with Landgate, LandApp, seeing all this development, data centers, the usage, the energy, and how this is all going to progress then, I mean, what is this going to look like? Where does this go? What is this impact?
Well, for us as digital marketers, we're going to have to change how we market, obviously. We're going to have to look at, how do you make your brand stick out even when they just stay in those AI interfaces? And how do you sell them your product? How do you get them to contact you? All of that. So that means being cited, being recommended, because otherwise some software platforms, some things will just be obliterated because you can just do it in your AI interface. I really don't see map-based apps or platforms going anywhere for a long time. Those are extremely complicated, and I think that a lot of people would still need the visual 2D or 3D information to make a lot of their choices. But for digital marketers, that means transitioning from SEO to GEO. And I've heard the name GEO, which is Generative Engine Optimization. I've heard like 7 other terms. GEO sticks with me, but I've heard AIO, AI optimization, or oh gosh, I can't even think of them all right now, but there's just been a ton. Well, I'm just going to stick with GEO, which would basically mean, just shifting your strategy to be cited in those answers, in those long form answers formulated by those generative engines or those big LLMs.
Yeah, and with that, right, just to understand the context if people haven't like fully encountered it. I've seen the term thrown around a little bit, but basically the idea is when you're searching for something, it's you are the result that the engine is producing. Like GPT will reference your business when you ask about, like, if you're an SEO agency and you type in a question about SEO, this is a bad example for this to pick an SEO agency, but whatever. You say, hey, I want to know more about SEO, and somebody types that in, then if you basically want to be positioned in a way where ChatGPT references your company, directs people to your company through that inquiry. The same way they would through a Google search. With SEO, you want them to do that as they talk to ChatGPT.
It's actually very similar to SEO. So you're not going to have to change absolutely everything. You still want to be that brand authority. You just want to change a few things so that the AI bots can actually read your content a little bit better. And that way they're still giving you that brand authority. They're still citing you, recommending you as an expert and a good source for whatever you're trying to go for. But basically, you'd want to break down that long form content into logical fact dense blocks. That would mean bullet points, tables. Traditional SEO as well as GEO still likes infographics, videos, all of that, because all of that content makes you that reliable source. It lowers your bounce rate, it increases your engagement rate. All of those algorithms are seeing that people are engaging with your content, they like it, and then they will keep recommending it. So those are all just like key things that you can do. But specifically for GEO, they also really like it when you are cited elsewhere, when you're mentioned and recommended elsewhere, even when it's not linked, just your brand. It also likes when you offer statistics or citations from experts, because then it feels like that's a good source. So even if you weren't ranking with that content, that citation or that expert statistic will show up more likely in some of those generative engines.
Got it. So, if you're mentioned on Future Fuzz, for example, a notable podcast that has a transcript, like maybe that's a great place to be.
The best podcast.
Number one podcast. You've got it right here. So yeah, those things are helpful. It's what it's all about. So, okay, well, that's some good information right there. And then, we've got some bright colors on this slide, which again, you can watch on YouTube, but we will fill you in if you're listening. It's all right. So what do we have going on here?
Well, so this is just, because I work with energy and infrastructure data, it's just funny seeing the other side of that, which is the physical demand, and that is the energy that it takes to compute all of these things. AI chips consume 2 to 4 times more energy than CPUs. So our grid in the US is already extremely strained, and it is just going to be crazy how much strain all of this computation is going to put on our grid. So reach out to Landgate. We have citing resources for you and all the data you need to find those sites and everything. But it is just nuts. I mean, Virginia and Texas lead in data centers. Obviously, Virginia is known as the data center alley, but it's just interesting to look at where those are ending up. They lead both in acreage and in gigawatt, demand.
Wow. All right. So I'm going to buy some land in Virginia, and I'm going to leave right now to do that. No.
Well, yeah. So look at the zoning, look at the fiber optic lines, look at, whether there's water, whether there's energy. You have to see, even if there's energy, who's also waiting in that interconnection queue, because there's also people just waiting to connect to that. So you have to kind of pre-calculate how much electricity is going to be available, and then how much you're going to be able to pay to upgrade that line, because that's the most expensive part of your development project.
Wow. And so the level of intricacy that goes into, it all makes so much sense. It's just something I've never thought about before. And it's like mind blowing to think of like, oh yes.
Yeah. I would not say I'm a data center site analysis expert, but we do have those transmission experts on our team.
Yeah. Well, that's great. Well, let me ask you this, Jamie. If people want to connect with those experts on your team, they want to connect with you, they want to learn more about Landgate, what is the best way to do that?
Definitely just go to landgate.com. Use your browser of choice. We're not obviously pushing anyone in particular, or your AI LLM, whatever you like.
Okay. Well, we'll have them go to Landgate then. Make sure you check it out. Oh, we have some final parting predictions here.
Sure. Yeah, the digital landscape is entering an entirely new phase of extreme platform consolidation. The large search and content aggregators will leverage all of their AI to monopolize user traffic and attention. And that's going to siphon both time and revenue from smaller websites. So just be aware of that. Change your strategies. The mega brands are going to win, both in, those product transactions, the shopping, everything that's going to eventually happen within those AI interfaces. And they're also going to win on the back end from those cloud structures that host all of the data. So that's where I would say that you need to focus with your marketing for 2026, is make sure you're looking at strategizing to get into those LLMs, because I think it's going to come faster than we think.
All right. Well, yeah, you got to get ready for it. It is moving fast. Everything's been moving faster than we think, right? It's been crazy. So yeah, it's fast and only getting faster. So Jamie, thank you so much for filling us in on all of this with AI, like fascinating stuff, great information, and appreciate the time. So yeah, and for connecting with you here, I see you got an email on the screen. What's the best way to reach out?
Yeah, contact us at landgate.com.
There you go. All right, Jamie, thanks again. Appreciate the time.
Thank you so much, Vince.
Thanks for tuning in and making the choice to listen to this podcast. If you liked what you've heard today, please don't forget to subscribe.